Collective conscious ascension. The soul's true purpose here on earth is to become consciously aware that it is more. We are a collective consciousness. The sooner we grasp the concept, the better our choices will serve the entire whole rather than just our personal agenda. We volunteered to come to planet Earth at this time to raise the collective consciousness back to its original divine template. Preface. We will discuss the vague beginning stage of evolution, consciousness, our soul's purpose here, and that we are not alone, but there is nothing to fear. Very simple and to the point. We are co-creators. We are life. We are love. You are a multi-dimensional being. The energy on the planet is calling for us all to raise our vibration. It is time to step up to the next level of your spiritual evolution. I am awakening to my mission. Say it if you believe it. I am that, and that I am. What is consciousness? Consciousness is what we really are. It is what has been interpreted as soul, spirit, energy, chi, kundalini serpent, God, source, ether, life. It has been given many names due to cultured descriptions, but as a whole it is referring to the same thing. Why have we been taught to see conscious as separate from ourselves? It is easier to gain control of a group when no one understands where they come from, what they truly are, and why they are here experiencing this game. When one is in a constant state of questioning, one can find truth. When one meditates, one can gain insight and answers of truth. The main goal of the elite, the group in control of the world right now, is to keep human beings so busy with the day-to-day stress and work and what they have been taught to believe life is, then they cannot find truth and answers to questions that they truly have or might have had at a younger age. In turn, they grow older, becoming more and more conditioned to believe in the lies they have been fed over their life. The deception is so grand that it takes complete disassociation from one's belief system to begin to see through the lies and see truth. Another reason people do not wish to have their illusions of how life truly is because we have been taught fear. And to believe in fear that it is real. So do not get too close to the truth because you may see the lies and have those illusions shattered. So to have the illusion shattered, it would mean that one would have taken the time to disassociate from the depths of their beliefs to restructure and realign with truth. This is the last thing the elite or cabal wants from us. They know how powerful we truly are and are constantly using our own energy, consciousness against us to keep us in a lower frequency of life so that we cannot evolve properly as intended. Why meditate? Meditation is a very powerful practice taught and practiced by multiple different beings, such as lamas, Buddhists, monks, Indians, shamans, and etc. In the Western culture, we have been taught continuously to demonize and underestimate the knowledge of other cultures, all because we can find truth there. If we observe why and how they practice these activities, we will understand. To meditate truly just means to go within and allow your thoughts to just pass by instead of showing them attention. The end goal is to experience the silence. the silence that always is inside of us, always around us, the source field or consciousness. When you allow yourself to do this, it is truly empowering to fully experience that there is a great interconnectedness, that we are not separate from, but a part of something much greater, and that we all essentially share the same brain. To realize we are consciousness. To understand this knowledge is to feel it. You cannot feel these things through a structured religion or belief system. You have to allow all the walls to come down, per se. So then how do we evolve? We evolve by a shift. Right now, we are in the midst of a huge conscious shift. It has been taking place for a few years, but right now we are reaching the high point, or the tipping point. This is done by the collective conscious. Remember, we all share the same brain, and together it is called the collective. You may have heard some terminology such as awakening, conscious awareness, enlightened, ascended, Christ consciousness, etc. But they are all referring to the same thing, and there have been a few beings throughout history whom show us this is possible for all, such as Yeshua, or Jesus Christ, Buddha, and Shiva. These are a few different forms or different cultures that have ascended to the Christ consciousness that is available for all the collective to reach. It is our own fault that we have allowed such perversions of truth to persist, but in our soul we all know the ultimate same truth. We just have to allow ourselves to feel it. As a collective, a whole, we are fed up with the lies. We are starting to become more transparent and see through the lies as a whole due to the collective conscious becoming aware. We are evolving into our true nature, our spiritual nature. We have been denied this for thousands of years, and we have been repeating the same cycle until we become aware of this for ourselves. This is why we are living in such an important time in history. Everything in the Bible and Quran and other major books are telling us is our story, preparing us for our own future and warning us of these events. We are now living through them. Continuous cycles will persist if we do not, as a collective, become aware. And we are becoming more and more aware every day. The world we are experiencing today is the result of our collective consciousness, and if we want a new world, each of us must start taking responsibility for helping create it. We dreamed up the Earth game as an experiment in separation from our divine source to feel what it would be like, to see what it could teach us, and to experience the exhilaration of awakening within the dream. Other beings have warned us. Yet another thing we have been instilled by fear with is the topic of aliens and UFOs, simply because they are real, and we have always been visited by them. They are our galactical brothers and sisters. Most, as far as the research I have, shows that they are gentle beings trying to assist humanity through this collective conscious shift. And we should be forever grateful for their help. We are persistent and strong, yes, but we have But we have been deceived so greatly that we almost forgot who we truly are and why we truly came here, because of the addiction to materialism and physicality. We all became addicted. But we have been waking up to that for a while, and now there are less and less who concern themselves with materialism and become more connected and spiritual. This is our goal. This is our purpose. They have been all assisting when needed, and we need to thank them. They are awaiting our acknowledgement and recognize them as beings as well. They love us unconditionally and are extremely proud of how resilient we have been on this earth during the constant slave experiment. We are on the brink of the golden age. We can create it because we are co-creators. We need not fear them. If we allow fear to control us, then the cabal has control of us. They cannot access the energy of love. If we vibrate on that frequency, 528 Hertz, then we allow ourselves to restructure and realign our own DNA, our own genetic codes. We allow them to be accessed by our conscious selves and become what we are intended to be. We need to stop denying ourselves of truth. We need to stop devaluing ourselves. We need to look within. All truth lies there because all truth is encoded within our own DNA. This is why meditation is so important. What is disclosure? Disclosure is when truth is leaked out in information. Some forms of soft disclosure would be in fantasy form. So in many movies today, there is much truth to what they are showing you. The technology, machines, people, planets, dark control, shadow government, chemical warfare, many things are constantly being put in television shows, commercials, and movies that is telling so much truth. This is soft disclosure, softening the subconscious up to the idea that these things might be real, but in a super slow over 100 years, if not even thousands of years over time, and then eventually accept it as truth. Then you have the alt-right media or alternative media, who is constantly doing research, constantly staying in the know, and directly telling that information to as much of the public who is ready for this information. This process has greatly affected the shift in conscious in a wonderful way. We must be thankful for the internet in that right. We must be appreciative of these people coming out with the truth, risking their life for it. We thank you. Mainstream media is constantly at war with those that are disclosing truth. They are fighting so hard to grasp of the few they are fighting so hard to hold grasp of the few they still have fooled into believing their lies. They are constantly losing ratings and viewers, while the alt-right media is constantly gaining viewers and subscribers. Fear-mongering off the weak can only get them so far, but fear not. It is in these political figures that light workers have also been placed to fight off such negative energy. They have been disclosing truth, risking their lives while being surrounded by darkness, not wanting truth to shine in the light. They are there, making it so to benefit humanity and the collective conscious. And lastly, you have whistleblowers, whom we are extremely thankful for, who really risk their lives, position, societal outlook, and more when they disclose truth. Why else would there have been a war called upon them if their information was not true? Anyone who gets too close to the truth will more than likely get threatened. But this is when you shall allow your light to shine and stay in as much of a positive frequency as you can, so they cannot mess with you. A few whistleblowers who I have received much of my own information from are Corey Goode, David Wilcock, William Tompkins, and Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden is currently kicked out of the USA for having to live in Russia due to exposing multiple NSA documents. It is utterly repulsive the grip the elite has to be able to have these heroes seen as enemies of the state. And enemies, terrorists, pedophiles, murderers, rapists, looked up to as heroes. No more. It is no more that this will persist. We must focus our energy on positive, loving thoughts and stop supporting all this negative energy unknowingly. Be part of the change because we are part of the problem. It is only us who can allow us to do so. Do not fear what the full disclosure will bring. Ultimately, it is for the good of humanity and a positive spiritual awareness shift. Ascension. I am sure you have heard weird things about our sun, such as extreme heat wave activity, there may be two suns, the sun will explode, and etc. There is truth here. This is what they are talking about and slowly describing, the ascension process. From the sun, which is conscious itself, radiates knowledge, information, DNA codes, etc., giving this information to the one susceptible to its info. Once the ascension happens, it will emit a huge white light that will ascend all that are collectively ready, or it can ascend all of the earth's inhabitants, and the earth as well will shift into the fifth dimension. The process we are undergoing now is the awakening, which is talked about in the Bible but widely misinterpreted. Even still, it is happening, and the reason we are going through this process is because we are rising through the fourth dimension right now. This is becoming aware of all the deception around us, realizing that we are all one and interconnected. Sacred geometry matters, and we are co-creators. There is more and more coming out every day, and Earth is ready for this shift with us. We must realize that Gaia is conscious and a living being herself, and we must respect her and end the pollution, chemical warfare, hate, malice, everything associated with the negative frequencies has to go, which is happening now. We will all shift as a collective, and that includes this precious planet. I believe it, I know it to be true. Our Ascended Masters are our galactical brothers and sisters who have figured out this information and greatly surpassed us and want us to travel into our star systems that we are supposed to be doing. We are not trees. We are not supposed to stay in a comfort zone and accept defeat and feel valueless. This is no longer our path for the collective. The time is now. The big day. The solar eclipse is a huge event for the collective to come together and meditate and or pray on shifting Earth into the golden age. We want to be able to tap into the collective consciousness and use it for the positive and transition into the fifth dimension. The elite cabal, as I have mentioned before, know how powerful we are and are continuously using our collective conscious against us by keeping us in a low frequency caused by fear. We now are aware of that and believe we can defeat them with our powerful intent. They will be attempting all of their negative tactics this day to try to allow their New World Order to follow through, but we will not allow it. If we meditate on positive thoughts, love, and imagine the earth anew and pure as if it already happened, I fully believe we will be able to reach the tipping point and shift the entire earth into the fifth dimension. We are so close as a whole, so allow us to continue to focus on that as a whole. We are one, we are love, we are life. We deserve happiness, divine happiness. We are divine. Allow yourself to feel it. Christ consciousness. Jesus Christ or Yeshua, Buddha, and Shiva. These are human beings who went through this conscious awakening and ascended during different ages throughout time. They are from different cultures but experienced the same thing. People saw what was happening. The beings going through this transition were telling and showing others how to do this through the connection we all share. But over time, the elite took this information and perverted their teachings, made religion, and then made those religions at war against each other, all the while keeping them blind to the truth, the bigger picture, allowing them to fight over a piece of thread, and all the while they had the whole quilt, if you can understand this analogy. This is something that we are so close to achieving as a whole now that we have entered the age of Aquarius, the age of frequencies and waves, the age of peace and love, the golden age. It was just a misconception that only these beings were perfect gods and we need to worship them. This is not true. We must allow ourselves to disconnect from the core foundations of our beliefs and restructure them. It is then that we will be able to see the fluent connection between all life and will simply understand all is well and we are exactly where we are supposed to be. As long as we have learned our lessons, we will stop the wheel of karma. It is by forgiveness that we stop it, not just in forgiveness of others, but forgiveness of ourselves. And we will see with our mind's eye all the knowledge we allowed to pass us by in our stubborn sleep state. But as of now, we will all continuously awaken. I love all and send this information out to the collective, for the collective, to aid us in our ascension into the golden age, in the 5th dimension. We are one, we are love, peace be with you, blessed be.